Hello everyone, Earl Henderson, Primordial Defense. Thank you for watching. Have another Monday quarterback video for you. This one comes from Pittsburg, California. Police responded to a 911 call where a woman had said that a person was beating on her door, trying to get into her apartment, and was refusing to leave, and they were armed with a handgun. And this person was their child's father and ex-boyfriend. Police get there. This guy refuses to follow any of their instructions and commands, runs back up the stairs trying to get away from them. Police follow. Suspect turns, points a gun at him, and police are forced to have to fire on him. I'm going to play the video in its entirety, and then I'm going to go back, hit replay, and then I'm going to go through the parts of the video and point out where I think they did things right and where I think they did things wrong. This video comes from Police Activity on YouTube. If you have not already, I highly recommend heading on over to Police Activity on YouTube and subscribing to their channel. They have a lot of good videos on there, lots of educational content, and that's where the bulk of my Monday quarterback videos come from. Without further ado, here we go.
Police and fire emergency.
Yeah, it's somebody at my door and he won't leave. Even he got a gun in his hand.
He got a gun in his hand. Okay, what's your address?
Leverage Road.
20 Leverage Road.
Leverage Road.
I apologize. Okay, is that a house or an apartment?
The apartment. He's banging on my door.
Okay, what apartment number?
Tripping.
Okay, let me get somebody started that way, okay, before I get into some more questions here. Do you know who this person is?
Yeah, he's my child's father and he won't leave.
Okay.
911, what is the address of your emergency?
Hi. I'm sorry. I'm at home and there is somebody trying to kick in the door. I live in an apartment complex.
Okay, what's your address?
What's up, man? How you doing? What's your name? Huh?
Yeah, what's your name, man?
Can you not reach for anything, please?
Keep her backpack on. Do me a favor.
Wait there.
Come down this
Stop.
No, stop. Hey, just stop. Stop. I got those people.
Get on the fucking ground right now.
Drop the gun! Drop the gun!
I got a double feed. Hey, double feed.
Hey, he's still got the gun pointed
Double feed.
He's still got the gun pointed at us. Hey. Stand by.
Wait there. Stop going up the stairs.
No, stop. Hey, just stop. Stop. I got those people.
On the fucking ground right now. Hey.
Drop the gun! Drop the gun!
I got a double feed. Hey, double feed.
Hey, he's still got the gun pointed at us. Stand by.
What's up, man? How you doing? What's your name? Huh?
Yeah, same
What's your name, man?
Can you not reach for anything, please?
Keep her backpack on. Do me a favor.
Wait there.
Come down this.
Stop going up the stairs.
No, stop. Hey, just stop. I got those people. W24. He's not being compliant. Start medical help. W24. Shots fired.
Drop the gun!
Hey, watch out, guys. Hey.
Drop the gun! double feet, double feet,
Okay,
double feet.
back up, back up, back
Double
up.
feet. Hey, he's still got the gun pointed at
Okay,
us.
back up.
He's still got the gun pointed at us.
All right, back up.
He's still got the gun pointed at
Okay,
us.
hey. Stand by, stand by.
Hi, copy. Shots fired.
What's up, man? How you doing? What's your name? Huh?
Yeah, what's your name, man?
Can you not reach for anything, please?
Keep your backpack on. Do me a favor.
Wait there.
Come down this.
Stop going up the stairs.
No, stop. Hey, just stop, 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 stop. I got the people.
Get on the fucking ground right now.
Drop the gun! Drop the gun!
I got a double feed, double feed, double feed. Hey, double feed.
Hey, he's still got the gun pointed
Double feed, double feed.
He's still got the gun pointed at us. He's still got the gun pointed at us.
Hey, stand by, stand by.
Hi, copy. Shots fired.
Nothing, but I'd feel comfortable with a 40 first.
Copy. 40?
I'd feel comfortable with a 40 first.
Yep. Stay firm.
He's got a gun in his hand. Stimulate him with a 40.
Yeah.
Hey, hey, hold on. You're right over his shoulder, though. No, hey, hold on. You're right in his ear. No, it's not him. Off my ear. We got a 40, but we need to create some space for Norman here.
Just have Elmore tap out, bring the 40 up here. Take the shield, take the shield, take the shield. Hold on, hold on. Let me give one more command. Patrick, you need to drop the gun, man, so we can come help. Please drop the gun so we can give you help. You're not giving us much options, man. We want to end this peacefully.
Firing.
Hold on, 40 out, come up. Get over the shield, there we go. 40 out, guys, 40 out, 40 out.
40 firing.
40.
Yeah.
No, any movement?
Nope.
No reaction.
Come up.
Up.
Alright,
Moving forward on me.
stand by, stand by. We need to dictate. Cardona, you're going to pin that upper torso with the shield. You're going to move in, and I'll go hands. See if we can get it, alright?
Slow, slow, slow.
You got rifle?
Yep.
Hold on. Stand by. Stop. I don't want an ND. I don't want an ND. Hold up.
I can move the arm a little bit.
No one move.
Good. Got it. Good.
Hold on, I got it. Let go.
Retrieve.
I got left hand.
Okay, left.
I got left hand. We need someone to get right. Ready? You're all in.
All right, let's go ahead and drop the volume on this and then head back to the replay. So,
Emergency.
Yeah, it's
I just
somebody
wanna hear
at my
this.
door and he won't leave.
let's hit replay on this.
Yeah, it's somebody at my door and he won't leave and he got a gun in his hand.
He got a gun in his hand. Okay, what's your address?
That's just the way he says that. Oh, he's got a gun in his hand. Dispatchers have to listen to all sorts of crazy things, and they experience a whole lot of crazy things just because they sit in a room on a computer, sitting in a chair, talking on the radio. It doesn't mean that they're not affected in any way by some of these emergencies that go on. Especially even, really sad cases, people having heart attacks, stuff like that, and they're on the phone with crying family members, what have you, trying to talk them through, CPR and stuff like that. But just this guy's tone, the way he says it, oh, he's got a gun.
Yeah, it's somebody at my door and he won't leave and he got a gun in his hand.
He got a gun in his hand. Okay, what's your address?
It's public service humor. Like, some people would be like, "Oh my God, I can't believe he's acting like that. That's so unprofessional." This dude's probably as professional as anyone can be. He's probably on top of his game. Just that's one thing that a lot of people don't realize when it comes to public service is like sometimes you get gallows humor, and you just act a little bit different. Just because someone laughs at something that normal people wouldn't normally laugh at, or they say things a certain kind of way, doesn't mean there's anything wrong with them. They've been in the game for a while, and you've been in the game for a minute. It's going to change you, and you can tell in his voice like he's been around the block as a dispatcher for a while. Anyway, moving on from that. So right off the bat, we get police responding, and as we saw in the video, there was multiple officers there. I think 4 of them showed up initially, and they are going to a call that there is a firearm involved. And when these officers get out of their vehicles, none of them get out with a rifle. They all get out with just handguns. One of them gets his handgun out pretty early on after talking to this guy. And then one of the last ones to show up, he gets out of his car and his gun is immediately coming out of his holster. At least they had the mindset to go ahead and get their handguns out. What I would have really preferred to have seen is them have the mindset to get their rifles out. And that is something that I see time after time in these videos from all across the country, is officers neglecting to get their rifles when going to hot calls, going to calls where there's guns involved and the possibility of being involved in a gunfight is high. I want to see a paradigm shift in how officers respond to these types of calls. I want to see more rifles and shotguns coming out. I don't want to see just pistols out and about. I want to see rifles and long guns. Rifles and shotguns, they are fight stoppers. If you know that you're going to a gunfight, you're going to want to bring a rifle. Rifle ammunition outperforms pistol ammunition any day of the week. Pistol ammunition inherently sucks. And the only reason we carry pistols is because it's more comfortable and convenient to do so. You can wear a pistol for 24 hours out of the day and you'd be perfectly fine. No real true discomfort whatsoever. There may be even some times throughout the day that you forget you even have a damn gun on you. Rifles, on the other hand, are not very comfortable and they're not very convenient. Thus, we don't carry them every single day. If we did, they would get in the way because you can't very easily sit in office chairs or your vehicles with them slung on. Walking through the office with them, the barrel poking out, knocking over coffee cups, stuff like that. Rifles just aren't very comfortable and convenient for carrying around every day. That's why we carry pistols. But if you know you're going to something where there is a increased chance of a gunfight occurring, bring your damn rifle. Anyway, moving forward. So they get to him, they start talking to him. This guy obviously isn't having any of it, isn't wanting to pay attention to anything they got to say, and doesn't follow their directions, and decides to turn around and walk away. I believe that this is a form of suicide by cop. It's obviously some type of domestic issue going on with him and his baby mama. She's not letting him in the apartment, probably for good reasons. The dude's probably unhinged. And instead of this guy doing the sensible thing, like obeying and following commands and coming down there and talking to them, he decides to ignore them, go up the stairs away from them, and then pull a gun on them. So that leads me to believe that he wanted to die this night. Oops, I actually hit all the way back. So go back to where we were.
What's your name?
Keep your backpack on. Just do me a favor. Come down this.
And it starts to back up, turns around, heads upstairs. Now this first officer gets up there to him, and boom. So right there, you can see where my mouse cursor is. There is the gun in his hand. He's got the gun out, and you're going to see that he points it at the officers. Like that happened real quick. Let me hit back up for 5 seconds. All right, hit play.
Stop! I got
Get on the fucking ground right now.
Boom. So the officer's already fired his shot. This guy's got the gun up and pointing at the officer. Realistically, it seemed like to me the officer was able to get a round off before that guy even got the gun all the way up and pointed at him, which is pretty good. Obviously, they find out way later this guy's gun is unloaded, but if it was loaded, even firing from this way, even though he's not aiming it, he still could have potentially hit that officer. All he's got to do is pull the trigger several times and point in that general direction and just, spray and pray. It's not like someone has to be in an aiming position.
Get on the fucking ground right now.
So notice how he falls. He moves around a little bit after being shot, but just kind of take note of the way in which he fell. His face is facing towards this wall right here, and his legs are orientated, pointing kind of this away. He moves a little bit after being shot, but at the very end of the video, he's kind of in that same position. So that makes me think that he probably died very shortly after this shooting, probably within a matter of minutes. He probably bled to death. The press release says that after the shooting, the police tried to give him verbal commands to drop the weapon, come down, and obviously he didn't do it. I would think that within that 40-minute time frame, they were probably yelling at a dead guy, and that's the reason why he didn't come down. And of course, at the end of the video, you see them shoot him with an impact munition, and obviously there's no effect. He doesn't move. So for that time frame of them yelling up the stairs at him after that initial shooting, the dude was probably already dead. Now, this first officer, after he shoots, he backs up and then very quickly goes down. So I had to go back and watch this several times, and it's from the other officer's camera view. At first, I thought this guy backed up and just kind of slipped and fell a little bit, but looking at the other angles, and I'll touch on it when we get to that angle, but it almost looks like he intentionally went down, and I'm imagining that probably what he was thinking was make himself a smaller target, get behind some of these concrete steps, and have some form of cover in this gunfight. He shoots, and then
Double feed.
no, that doesn't work.
Double feed. Hey. I got a double feed.
Now he starts running down the stairs, yelling, "Double feed, double feed, double feed."
He's still got the gun pointed at us.
And he appears to have no idea what he's doing. Back it up one more time.
Double feed.
So he racks it, or he attempts to rack the slide.
Double feed.
He almost looks like he does a tap on the magazine.
Double feed.
Tries to rack it, nothing happens. His hand fidgets like he's not sure what to do, and then it looks like he's going to try and pull the round out or empty case, whatever's going on. You can't exactly see inside the ejection port and know exactly what's going on. He could have a double feed. It's not exactly clear. That, in my opinion, right here is a sign of bad training. Now that could be That could be one or two things. When I say bad training, it could be that the training he received did not cover very well on how to clear malfunctions, and they may have talked about it, may have shown them a couple times how to do it, but they didn't spend any length of time practicing it and incorporating it into their shooting drills. That's a possibility. Um, the other possibility is he was in a large group of recruits, and it was taught, but he just kind of fell through the cracks, and no one really picked up on the fact that he didn't really catch on to this um, malfunction clearing stuff. And when it comes to malfunction clearing, there's more than one kind of malfunction. You got your type 1, type 2, type 3, and you really need to spend a good block of time covering this stuff. And then once you cover this stuff, you incorporate some of it into some shooting drills. Um, to be more proficient at being able to do this stuff on the fly without thinking about it. So those are a couple of scenarios I think are plausible. Don't know exactly which one it is. I don't know if the instructor sucked and it wasn't really taught to them very well, or if it was kind of covered kind of good, but he kind of fell through the cracks because no one noticed it, and he just happened to shoot good enough to pass the quals, and that was that. Um, it's obvious this guy has not done any other training beyond what was given to him at the academy and at his department, and that's pretty common as well. You'll see lots of officers who take a whole lot of pride in their firearms training at the academy, and when you take that firearms training from that academy and you set it up in comparison to some other big name school like Gunside, Thunder Ranch, whatever big name school out there, you're going to see that it pales in comparison. It's not that great a training. The curriculum they have may be good, but the instructors they have may not be good at all. And that's another downfall for a lot of police agencies is the instructors. So there's a lot of agencies out there where the instructors probably shouldn't be instructors at all. And the only reason they're instructors is because they hold some kind of office job or they hold some kind of rank, and it's a whole lot easier logistically to schedule that person to do the firearms training versus have some regular patrol guy become the instructor, and then you have to take that person off of patrol for them to go teach a class, and then B, fill that person's spot with another person in order to have coverage. And administrators, they don't like playing, Tetris like that a whole lot with schedules and stuff. So a lot of times your firearms instructors and departments end up being people who stay inside all day in the office. They got some kind of rank because it's a whole lot easier to tell the lieutenant or the captain or whoever who sits inside the station at a desk to go put on a firearms training class, and no one really has to go cover for that person. And that's sad. That happens quite a bit. And so there's a lot of officers out there who, they may get some pretty good initial training at the academy, but when they come back to the department, the instructors they got just aren't that great. And the officers, they don't know any better because that's the only training they've been exposed to. And here's this person who's in high rank, well above them, who is a firearms instructor. They got probably got that red polo shirt on, signifying them as an instructor. And they think that they're getting the best knowledge, just like how regular citizens are when it comes to concealed carry classes. There are some stupid ass concealed carry instructors out there who don't know their ass from a hole in the ground, and they give bad information. They're not good teachers. And there are people who go to these classes, and because they have nothing else to compare to as far as firearms training, that's their only firearms training experience. They take this class and they're like, oh yeah, this is pretty good training. They don't know what they don't know. And that happens in the police world as well. There's all kinds of officers out there who were given crappy training to begin with, but they don't know they got crappy training. They don't know their instructor sucks. They don't know that they have been inadvertently set up for failure because the instructor's bad, and that's what it is. But the police, and they got that little ego going on. They think they're the best trained people ever, but they really don't know what they don't know. Anyway, getting way off on a tangent there. But this obviously shows right here this guy trying to fiddle around with this malfunction and not being able to clear it properly. And you see him just fidgeting like, what do I do? That shows a lack of good training, in my opinion. Moving forward, going to another camera view. This is where he's going up, and this is the one where I replayed it a few times, and it looked like he intentionally went down. It looks like he started to brace his arm. And I'll back that up again here a little bit. And it's so hard to notice because it goes by so quick. Pause it, but he starts to back up, and he looks like he has good footing. Looks like he's stable, and it appears as though he braced himself before he went down, and then decided to start shooting some more until his gun malfunctioned.
Hey, he's still got the gun pointed at us. He's still got the gun pointed at us.
Moving forward.
How you doing?
Do me a favor. Come down this.
Stop. He's not being compliant. Start medical inspection. W24, shots fired. All right, back up.
All right. We see them all roll up. Like I said, they had a pretty good response. They showed up in a sufficient amount of numbers for this call, but you just don't see them get out with rifles, and I would have preferred to have seen that. Another thing to note, he's got his driver's side door open, and he walks away from the vehicle with the driver's side door open. You should always be securing the vehicle, because there's lots of videos floating around out there now where bad guys jump in the police cars and take off, and that creates a whole world of problems. So shut your doors.
What's your name?
Get on the fucking ground right now.
Drop the gun!
I got a double feed.
Hey, he's still got the gun pointed at us.
Double feed.
He's still got the gun pointed at us.
Now, let me go back just a little bit more on this double feed issue. So let's say that all these other officers were not there, and this guy was by himself, and he got in that gunfight, and boom, malfunction. He runs down the stairs and goes off to the side trying to clear it, and he doesn't. And let's say that his rounds were not incapacitating, and that bad guy came down the stairs to finish the gunfight. That guy would have been screwed, because at that point, if the bad guy had come down the stairs and rounded the corner on him, that officer would have been standing there with essentially a $500 hammer and looking down the barrel of the bad guy. At that point, his only two options would be to drop the gun and go to a backup gun, which hopefully he had, and believe it or not, some officers don't carry backup guns, or to perform a Nike drill and just turn around and run away really fast. Going forward. So at this point, I want to say like 40-something minutes past the shooting. The news release talked about how, they got into the gunfight, and then like 40 to 45 minutes after that, they were calling out up to him and telling him to, throw his gun down and surrender or whatever. Obviously, he never came down. He never, threw his gun down or whatever. And I think for that entire duration of time, they were just talking to a dead person. But they have to go up there and get them, obviously. And this is where this part comes into play. And we see the shields being used. Now, there's lots of videos out there where people were using shields, and some of them are just straight goofy. There was one video of a pursuit, I want to say, suspect vehicle crashed out, and then you see this whole like platoon of officers, like freaking 10 of them, approaching this vehicle. One guy has a shield, and he's on point, but all the other officers are so spread out to the left and right. None of them are behind that shield. So essentially, it's just one person who has a shield on, or not a shield on, but holding a shield in front of them, and the rest of them have nothing. In this scenario, it's kind of hard to tell from the camera angle. I would say that most likely their positioning is a lot better with the use of the shields. You do see what appears to be someone's kneecap over here, and obviously that's a little bit further out than what this shield can cover, so they're pretty exposed. But that's kind of the nature of the beast that I've noticed when it comes to shields is, yeah, they're kind of a good thing, but at the same time, I don't think that they're fully utilized correctly, so to speak. Like I said, you can see like a whole platoon of officers walking behind a guy with a shield, but they're all, sticking out to the left and right like a wedge formation, and they're all exposed. Like, what's the point of that shield?
Nothing, but I'd feel comfortable with a 40 first.
So they're talking about a 40. 40, for those that don't know, that is a less lethal impact munition. Basically, they've got a 40 millimeter launcher, just like a grenade launcher in a sense, but instead of firing things like grenades that explode, they can fire less lethal impact munitions, and they can also fire tear gas through them as well. What they're going to be firing is an impact munition. It's just a foam rubber kind of round. It's supposed to cause a lot of pain and incapacitate a person. There are other styles of them, like wooden batons. It's like a little block of wood essentially, and those are designed to actually fire them at the ground and make them skip off the ground and hit people. But that takes a lot of skill to acquire to learn how to use those effectively. So ALS Technologies has more direct impact munitions where you can just shoot someone directly with them. And that's what they use. And you actually end up seeing that a little bit later on towards the end there. It kind of rolls around on the ground and hits the officer's foot. But
I'd feel comfortable.
they're communicating, and there's an officer who's kind of leading them all as a team leader. And I think he does a pretty good job in directing the team on what they're going to do. He's very clear and concise with his instructions, and does a pretty good job in getting everyone to do what they need to do.
Tap out, bring the 40 up here. Take the shield. Let me give one more command. Patrick, you need to drop the gun, man, so we can come help. Please.
So at this point, this is just for show, obviously. Yeah, the guy could still be alive, but I mean, after the dude's been shot and there's been no movement for a while, chances are he's pretty dead. So at this point, I would say they're just going through the motions, giving the verbal commands before they shoot him again with some type of, weapon. That way, if he actually was alive, he can't come back and claim some type of excessive force bull crap on him.
We want to end this peacefully.
But right now, he's obviously talking to a dead guy.
Get over the shield. There we go. 40 out, guys. 40 out. 40 out.
40 firing.
So they communicate what's going on. They communicate, hey, firing the 40. That way, when the loud pop goes off, there's no sympathetic reflexes with people shooting. That's an important thing to have to do and note is you need to communicate those things, especially taser. I would say there's probably been some instances where someone went to go deploy a taser on someone and they didn't call out taser, 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 and when they pulled the trigger and that little primer fired off to push the capsule forward inside the cartridge, well, that's a primer. That's a primer just like you would put in a bullet casing, and that's a small explosion. I would say there's been cases across the U.S. where someone went to go fire a taser at someone and didn't call it out, and people legitimately thought that maybe it was a gunfire, and they had a sympathetic reflex and started shooting because of it. So you gotta notice, like I said earlier, his positioning. His feet and legs are in kind of the same position that he was. His torso, when he did fall down, was kind of more pointing towards the rails over here at the end of the balcony. Now it's more facing kind of the wall. He probably rolled around very minimally after being shot, and then very soon went unconscious after that. That would be my best guess, because it does not appear as though he moved around a whole lot at all.
All right,
Moving forward on me.
stand by. We need to dictate.
Now, back this up 5 more seconds, and then I'll try and pause it again. So we see in the left corner, this guy does not have a helmet on. This guy has a ball cap on. This guy has a helmet on. So it's hard to say whether or not they all have helmets, or if this guy just happens to be on their special tactics team, SWAT team, CERT, whatever name that kind of team has for that agency. He could be a part of that team, and he may be the only one there that actually has a helmet. If these other guys had helmets available to them that they could be putting on, they should have them on. But I don't know. I don't know anything about the Pittsburg, California police and whether or not everyone has a helmet available to them.
Stand by. We need to dictate. Cardona, you're going to pin that upper torso with the shield. You're going to move in, and
here we got good directions coming from the team leader.
You got rifle? Yep.
And now he mentions rifle. So at least they had the mindset to get a rifle out to finish, the gunfight if it continued.
Hold on. Stand by.
All right, so you can see, let me back it up 5 more seconds again. All right, so they're swarming on him.
Hold on. Stand by.
All right, that right there. And you saw the tip of it was blue.
Stand by.
It's hard to get it to pause at the right moment, but he just knocked it out of the way and it rolled down here. That was the impact munition that they shot him with.
I don't want an ND.
So he's talking about he doesn't want an ND. That's negligent discharge. And he has a pretty good mindset on that. He doesn't want any of those other officers making any furtive movements, trying to grab that thing in a hurry and get it out and cause an ND. So good on that.
No one move.
He reaches in there. He uses a flashlight. And you can see actually right now more of that little impact munition sitting there. This is the piece that would go into the casing of the round, and the blue part right here is the thing that would hit the guy. But anyway, he uses his light to look up under the shield to see where that gun's at, and then he reaches in there and gets it, takes it, and then goes off to the side and secures it. The news release says this is a Walther 22 pistol and that it was unloaded, but he did have some live ammunition on him. It said a live round, so I don't know if that means he only had actually one live round on him, like Barney Fife, or if he had more, but there was just one on the ground. No idea what's going on with that. But nonetheless, you can't tell if a gun's unloaded or not when it's pointed at you, and you have to assume that it's loaded, obviously. But like I said, this is what kind of makes me think that this is more of a suicide by cop. The fact that he pointed an empty gun at the police, knowing that, he's not going to be able to do anything with that empty gun, but they're probably more likely going to shoot at him. So all in all, again, just like 99% of all these videos that come out, the police did nothing wrong in their performance. They didn't violate this dude's rights in any way. They followed the law in regards to use of force. It was a good, clean shoot. The only gripes that I have about this are the fact that when they got there, they had knowingly responded to a call involving a person with a gun, and they neglected to get out of their vehicles with any type of long guns. That's gripe number one. And then gripe number two is it's very evident that there's been a training issue at some point in that guy's career, and probably an ongoing training issue in his career, because this guy does not know how to clear a malfunction. Other than that, not much else to say about this. If you've liked what you've seen and heard in this, go ahead and give me a like and subscribe. Head on over to the Facebook page and do the same over there. Stay tuned for more Monday quarterback videos. Earl Henderson with Primordial Defense. Thank you for watching.